seen this story before, haven't we? I feel like that minute and a half kind of sums up exactly how all Manchester United fans are feeling at the moment. Clinton, it's hard to know where to start, really. 4 points from their opening 4 games. Mentioned it a minute ago, their worst start to a Premier League season in 33 years. What was your reaction to watching yesterday?
No, it's difficult, but first and foremost, I'm not going to Fort Park. Definitely not going to
whatever theme park that is, we're not going to it.
I'm not going to it, definitely not. No, but it was disappointing, and you see like the likes of Roy Keane and Gary Neville who know the club inside out. It's disappointing, and I always say as a manager, when you're under pressure, and he's been under pressure from last season, he's under pressure this season as well. I don't think they have a plan B. His plan A is not working. So if your plan A is not working, why don't you go to a plan B? Everyone can see that those players are not good enough to play his system. His system is not working, and he looks like a manager who sticks to his guns, and I can get that. But at the end of the day, if you keep sticking to your guns, you're going to lose your job.
Is that how you feel? Is this now stubbornness with him wanting to stick to this system going to end up with him losing his job?
100%, because he can hear everyone in the media talking about the players don't look like they can suit to this formation, and the formation doesn't look like it suits players. If you look at Bruno Fernandes is not better in a 2, he's better in a 3, or he's better in one of those number 10 positions, but he's Man United's best player, so you're not getting the best out of your players at the moment, and you're looking at it, so Jim Ratcliffe there, who makes all the big decisions. There'll be question marks over Ruben Amorim. I do think they'll stick with him, but results like this are not good enough, and it feels like I talk about Man United Football Club. As Roy Keane just said there, they look like an average Premier League team. And who would have said that about Man United in decades gone by? No one would have said that, because they were, if not, they were the best team around. When I was playing, they were the best team around. You knew you were going to Old Trafford and you weren't getting no points there because the team was so good in the way they were set up. So it was always difficult. Now I think every team that goes to Old Trafford or plays against Man United will think they can get a result. It's nowhere near good enough. But at the end of the day, the players have to take responsibility, but the buck stops with the manager. And if you don't make a change, you're going to lose your job.
We'll talk more about the system in just a moment. You said their results haven't been good enough. Can you see them changing? Because when you look at their next fixtures now, Chelsea, Brentford, Sunderland, all before the next international break, I mean, just how important are these next 3 games?
They're big for Ruben Amorim, because that's when usually the chairmans like to make changes in that international break. And there'll be talks where people will be sounding out other managers to see what's going to happen. But first and foremost, all he's got to do is just turn it around, because those 3 games are massive for Man United Football Club and massive for Ruben Amorim. I actually did their first game of the season against Arsenal, and I thought, this is a different Man United team.
That sort of has it gone downhill from there?
Yeah, it's gone downhill since then, because and you know what it is with Man United, and I've said it many a times, when they play the big teams like the Arsenals, they turn up. And Bruno Fernandes even said it last season. Now, when you play the teams that you expected to win,
yesterday.
No, exactly, but didn't turn up in that game. Yeah, they didn't turn up, and you expect that. It's a Manchester derby. Surely you got to feel it and show a bit of pride for the fans that have turned up. I'm not saying any player goes out there and tries not to try their hardest, but it's been nowhere near good enough. It's a Manchester derby, and they did not turn up. Like some of the defending and the way they go about their business, nowhere near good enough. But as I said, the pressure is on the manager, Ruben Amorim. He has to deliver. I do not think, Emma, the formation suits the players.
Well, talking of that, a lot has been said, hasn't it, about Amorim's system and his stubbornness of playing this 3-4-2-1 system. After the game yesterday, he said that if United want to change the system, they'll need to change the manager. Listen to this.
There are a lot of things that you have no idea what happened during these months, but I accept that. But I'm not going to change. When I want to change my philosophy, I will change. If not, you have to change the man. So, and we will talk about that every game that we lose. I don't believe in that, in the system or whatever. I play my way, and I'm going to play my will until I want to change.
Theme, isn't it, about whether the system is able to work with this Manchester United squad. But it's the consequences of the system that I want to talk about this evening. The players involved in the most 1v1 situations in the Premier League over the last 2 seasons have been Mo Salah and Bukayo Saka. So Liverpool and Arsenal want their best players in prime position on the pitch. But what about Manchester United this season? Well, it seems Patrick Dorgu is the one finding himself time and again in threatening situations. He's been involved in the most one-against-one situations of any Manchester United player this season. That's ahead of Bryan Mbeumo. Significantly, look at third on the list as well, Diogo Dalot. Is he the type of player that United fans want facing up the opposition defence? This is a consequence of the system. And this is also reflected In the touches in the opposition box, Patrick Dorgu had the most of any Manchester United player this season against rivals Manchester City. Bryan Mbeumo and Joshua Zirkzee are also high on the list. So what does this mean for Manchester United's historically most creative player? He started this season as a pure central midfielder with the two tens in front of him, tasked with the chance creation and the goal contributions. It's 1 goal, 0 assists so far for Fernandes. But his picture is slightly more complex than those numbers might suggest. Small sample size, but he is creating more chances than last season at the moment. However, from that deeper position, his touches in the opposition box are on the decline, as you can see there, as are the number of shots that he is taking. He's winning possession marginally more than he did last season. Will that number rise this season, because he is playing in a deeper position and his responsibilities are slightly different in the deeper role than they would be as a number 10. It's all a complex situation for Manchester United. With one hand, you give with your attacking players, Mbeumo, Cunha, Mount. I know both of those are injured, but the other hand, you take away with Bruno Fernandes' creativity. What do Manchester United do here, Clinton?
Well, if you want to get the best out of Bruno Fernandes, I think you need to change the shape and go 4-3-3. And Bruno Fernandes plays in that number 10 role where he creates stuff. I know if you play that 3-4-3 where he wants to play, Bruno can play in one of those 10 positions. But I just think when you brought in Cunha and Mbeumo, you paid a lot of money. They're going to play in that, and Šeško's going to play through the middle. I think you change your formation and go put him in that number 10. He creates stuff. He's a brilliant. Bruno Fernandes don't want to be running back towards his own goal. He wants to be running forward. I think you get two holding midfielders that can sit there and get the best out of your best player in the team. And Ruben Amorim is not doing that. He says in the press there, doesn't want to change. But if you're not going to want to change, Dave, then you're not going to stay in your job. And that's as plain and simple as that, because you're at Man United Football Club, one of the biggest football clubs in the world, and the results have been nowhere near good enough.
OK, so if he did change,